Truly amazing. Thank you so much, Joel, for not one, not two, but four amazing performances back to back. Let's give him a round of applause once again. Our next speaker works at the intersection of storytelling, creativity, and cultural connection. Ms. Stephanie Timmins is a creative producer who builds narratives that move across cultures and platforms, creating spaces where diverse voices are heard and felt. Her work reflects the belief that powerful stories can bring people together and spark meaningful change. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Stephanie Timmins on stage with a round of applause.
Hello everybody at TEDxIE. I'm super excited and thrilled to be here giving my first ever TEDx talk to you guys. So let me begin with my journey. Starting with my personal story and introduction, from being a business management student to a first generation Indian fashion blogger. Imagine this, fresh out of college, armed with a first class distinction business management degree. The path was clear, a corporate job, a stable salary, a safe career. But something inside me whispered, not this, not right now. I think that was my first experience of today's topic, Kairos. The moment of perfect timing that is not measured by the clock, but measured by readiness. For me, Kairos arrived as a simple yet powerful question. What if? What if I didn't follow the path that was laid out for me? What if my passion for fashion and storytelling was more than just a hobby, but a calling waiting for its right moment? Graduating with a first-class distinction in business management and also had a specialization in international marketing, of course society expected me to follow a corporate career. But when my moment came, I chose differently, obviously. I chose a career in blogging. That career was not safe. It was not conventional. In fact, it wasn't even considered a career at all in India at that time. And I think that what if changed the entire trajectory of my life. Being a pioneer, now over 14 years ago, I started my blog. It was called Feisty Fox Diaries. At a time when most people in India didn't even know what a blog was. Now, to use being a pioneer sounds glamorous, but it's not in truth. Honestly, it was really lonely. When I started, blogging wasn't mainstream at all. In fact, traditional media like newspapers and magazines still dominated. Being a pioneer means I had no roadmap, no blueprint, no mentors to consult with. I think my only reference point at that time were these international bloggers. One of them was this famous Italian blogger, I don't know if you know her, called Chiara Ferragani. She's built a very big empire today of shoes and clothing. And she was from the Blonde Salad. And there was another Asian influencer called Amy Song of Style. And I was seeing that these guys were really thriving globally. And I thought to myself, if they could create something meaningful there in the digital space, why couldn't I create something like that here? And as most of us young girls, I had my monthly Cosmopolitan magazine that I was going through. And I saw that these guys were doing such amazing work with, global brands. They were attending fashion weeks abroad, like Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. And they were really thriving, with their global influence. And I remember thinking, if their time could come, why couldn't mine? So what I did was I stayed up late. I tried to set up my own blog on blogger.com at that point in time, learning everything from SEO, plugins, widgets, and even a little bit of coding at that point in time. And it was like a lot of trial and error, a lot of endless YouTube tutorials, honestly. And it was messy, it was confusing, and filled with a lot of self-doubt. But every time I hit publish on that article on my blog, I believed that I was one step closer to building a vision, a voice, and a community. Now, looking back at my journey, I feel that there were three major Kairos touch points. One was passion. When I realized that my passion for fashion was more than just a hobby or an interest, it was my love language. Courage to step into the unknown, into a world of fashion blogging with no roadmap. And third important was impact, where I realized that my work wasn't just about me. It was about expanding what was possible for others. Now coming to the next part is breaking conventions and setting new standards. When I started blogging, honestly, people told me, oh, this is just a hobby. You can't make a living from this. And honestly, part of me feared that they might be right. But I also had this voice inside me that said, if I wait for society to validate, blogging, my moment would pass. So I treated my blog like a business way before it became one. I saw the power of digital storytelling. I felt that I could connect with an audience in the way traditional media couldn't. And slowly, brands noticed, audiences engaged, and little girls came up to me and they said, we are so inspired by what you do. We want to try this too and also take up career in blogging. And I remember that point in time, I was so excited because I'd set up my blog. My friends and family and audiences were liking it, and one of the first ways in which I was able to make money is when people started writing to me via email saying that we want to add space on your blog. So I was selling like banners, ad spaces, and sometimes it was like as for clicks as for the ads, so you were making money. And also I think one of my first collaborations was with Amazon, where they paid me 1,500 rupees to write a blog post for them. And my first fashion collaboration came with Viro Moda. That's when I knew, oh wow, this is a business, I can make money from this. Where they signed me on for a 1-year contract, and I would take their clothes on a returnable basis. I would shoot them in outdoor locations and write a blog describing the clothes, the fashion, what I was wearing, and so that was the first way I actually started making money from my blog, and I felt like, okay, I was right all along. Now coming to my blogging journey, I think one of my earliest milestones was when I collaborated with Hindustan Lever's Be Beautiful channel. They had a YouTube channel, and I was co-creating skincare and beauty content for them, so some of their top brands like Sunsilk, Pond's, Lakme. And I also starred in some of their digital campaigns which they ran on YouTube. One was, I think, very popular one for Be Blunt, that was by Ordina Akhtar, that's a brand. And I got to play Priyanka Chopra from Dil Dhadkane Do, like to sing that whole thing on the cruise. I think that was a really cool experience. And also shot another digital ad for Dove. So I think this was one of the things that marked my entry into the beauty industry. I was like known now as a trusted voice in the Indian beauty industry. And then came a moment that I'll never forget. Pond's Global selected me as the only Indian influencer to represent India in New York. I got a chance to visit the R&D center in Connecticut. I got to meet the scientists behind the brand to see exactly in the laboratories how the products were made. And also another cool experience, they took us to the Google headquarters in New York, where we got to create content with other influencers from across the world. And I think that moment was so surreal because it hit me at that point in time that it was this little girl who was building her blog in her bedroom, and today she was creating content on a global stage. And I think that was years of preparation now aligning with this one defining moment. Then came the Instagram era. Now that demanded reinvention all over again, because that meant that now your blog stories were now getting into grids and into visuals. Your stories now were captions, and creativity had to fit into this square grid. And I had to learn a new set of skills, honestly: photography, storytelling through visuals, location scouting, outdoor location scouting, props I had to get for my shoots. I had to learn video scripting, video editing, and also a lot about algorithms. And as influencers, we are multi-hyphenates. We have to be the creative director, brand strategist, I'm the makeup artist, I am the clothes stylist, and finance manager, all rolled into one. So I must say it isn't easy. But today I'm so grateful, that I stayed my course, I put in all that hard work, years of research and planning, that I have such a loyal and engaged community of more than 1 million Instagram followers today on my Instagram, Feisty Fox Diaries. And they, get to share this beautiful journey with me. Now coming to brand partnerships and global travel. Now, of course, in my career as a blogger and an influencer, I've had a chance to get some major opportunities, and one of them is, of course, we earn through, collaborating with top global and Indian brands. I've got a chance to collaborate with makeup brands like L'Oreal Paris, Maybelline New York, YSL, Gucci, Armani, Nike, Puma, and also Indian brands like Amazon, Nykaa, and Myntra. Luxury travel collaborations, I think like my luxury travel collaborations have taken me all over the world, and I'm super grateful for that. We've collaborated with international hotel chains like the Marriott, Taj, Hilton, and Novotel. Also got a chance to go on some luxury cruises, and I think one really cool experience, one of my early days that stood out is where I got to visit the F1 race in Singapore. It was a night race along with a brand. And then like there have been obviously tourism boards like Visit Singapore and lots of amazing global fashion destinations. Now, as a recognition for my work, I've also got a chance to be featured in like British Vogue, Cosmopolitan, and Femina. I've also won awards for the Best Beauty Influencer Award 2023 in the Lord of the Trends event. And just last week for Women's Day, I won the Women Achievers Award for my work as a beauty influencer. But looking back, I see that every one of these achievements have been a defining moment. And this is a proof for you that small beginnings can lead to extraordinary chapters. So I'm so grateful today that, I chose that unconventional career of blogging all the way back then. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on this stage sharing my inspirational journey with you all today. Now, coming to travel, I think travel content creating was like a natural extension of my career. Creating unique travel content doesn't mean that I just get to explore the world, because I get to translate those experiences into stories and visuals that other people can access through me and they can live it through me. On my recent trip, I think last year to Paris, I was so excited. I remember visiting Paris that I planned, I think it took me 3 months in advance to plan all my shoots and my content that I was doing. I got a chance to shoot obviously at the iconic Eiffel Tower, at the Louvre Museum, and the world famous cabaret that was the Moulin Rouge. And I also remember that we shot this really dreamy video on this famous Bir Hakeem Bridge. In fact, that was the one that was used in the Hollywood movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. So it was a very dreamy sequence of me in this beautiful long pink gown with this pink vintage car and these pink balloons across the bridge, and the Eiffel Tower in the backdrop. It was a really beautiful experience, but honestly, like creating travel content in a foreign country is very challenging. It requires a lot of pre-planning, a lot of research, and coordinating with people in a foreign country. But having said that, I think that the content that you shoot there is so unique, so beautiful, and I get to share it with you guys. Now, coming to the age of AI, as you all know, AI has become super important in most of our lives, and influencers like me have to learn the skill to boost efficiency, enhance our content quality, and just basically maintain competitiveness. And honestly, I do feel that AI really helps to keep the content innovative and engaging. And it's helped me, generate captions, generate sometimes, story ideas, and it really helps you save a lot of time. Apart from the editing also, that is really like amazing, and this basically keeps it very innovative. And I think that we need, all of us, not just as influencers, need to leverage these skills to remain relevant in a highly competitive market today. Honestly, having said all that, I have to say that content creation is really dynamic. It's ever changing, and sometimes even me, I find it very exhausting staying abreast of what's the trending audio, what's trending style. I have to make a reel on this, understanding algorithms that also keep on changing. But ultimately, I think it's your passion that drives you to keep learning, keep innovating. And honestly, the lesson that I've learned that I want to share with you guys today is never be laid back about something that you're passionate about. Never stop being curious, open-minded, willing to learn and adapt to change, because I think that's what will keep you successful. Coming to the power of representation, I think that when somebody sees someone who looks like them, comes from where they come from, and see them succeed in a field that didn't even exist, it really expands the imagination of what is possible in life. Because representation to me whispers that if she can do it, I can do it too. And I think that is the beauty of our topic today, Kairos, is one person's right moment becomes another person's invitation to dream. Coming to today's Indian influencer industry shift, as you all know, today the Indian influencer industry is booming. Okay, careers that didn't exist a decade ago are now mainstream. Brands are investing more than ever in digital creators. In fact, the Indian influencer industry, as per recent study, is experiencing rapid growth and is expected to grow to about rupees 3,375 crores in 2026 with the 18% CAGR that is driven by 740 million active smartphone users. And the key sectors that will experience this growth are personal care, fashion and technology, and that's going to be with a heavy reliance on YouTube and Instagram. So to me, I feel Kairos is happening right now. A moment where creativity meets opportunity like never before. So guys, I leave you with this today. What are you preparing for right now? What are you building quietly? What part of you is ready when the world hasn't noticed as yet? What decision, dream or calling have you been postponing until the right time? Because what I've learned, success is not linear. It's a series of Kairos moments that are built of conviction, clarity and courage. If I had not had the courage to start my blog way back then in 2012 and pursue my subsequent blogging and influencer career, maybe I wouldn't be on this stage sharing this inspirational journey with you. If I had not grabbed my opportune moment to start my blog then, I think I would have missed out on such a passion-driven and fulfilling career. So I hope that my journey from a simple blog to a thriving influencer career today can inspire some of you all to take advantage of your opportune timing too. Because Kairos of yours will not arrive with fireworks. It will arrive as a whisper. And when it does, I hope that you don't wait for somebody else's permission. Because one day someone will look at your journey and say, when her moment came, she was ready. And that is the power of Kairos.